Everybody having a good time? Okay, so this is the Big Ass Doctor Who panel, which
I can claim the title of biggest ass in the room.
I don't know.
I'm not going to argue. I've known him long enough.
Yeah. we saw the name and we're like, that has to be Davey's panel.
Yeah.
And the funny, well, I came up with the title.
You did?
Yeah, well, I know. They just put, you know.
Yeah, they just.
There's a Doctor Who panel. I'm on it.
Yeah,
They were like, what the hell are we going to do with this guy? Well, I'll just put it here.
Exactly.
Okay, so I brought some of my friends with me to do the panel with us, and they might have something to say at some point.
Oh.
Like,
Nice.
It's easy to understand as the MARTA announcer.
exactly.
That's what I was saying.
That's who runs MARTA. You never knew that. But.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with, I have no format plan for this thing. We will talk about whatever comes up, which I'm sure will be a lot of season 6, but we can talk about anything you want. So, introduce yourself.
Oh, introducing myself. Okay. I'm much better here in a smaller audience than during opening ceremonies. I am Davey Beauchamp. I am a librarian. I'm a podcaster. I'm an anthologist and a writer of all things fiction and nonfiction. Right now, the thing I'm most proud of is my Writers for Relief anthology series, where I get a bunch of well-known sci-fi fantasy authors together to donate stories to help raise money for a good cause. We're currently working on volumes 3 and 4 that help with relief efforts in Japan right now.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And how would somebody acquire one of these things in order to contribute to the cause?
Well, volumes 3 and 4 are basically in production right now.
Okay.
They're not yet released because we're still working on who's going to be in them. But I will say this: I've had such a response from authors. That's why they're 2 volumes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would somebody get 1 and 2?
Amazon, bookstores, anywhere.
Very cool.
Yeah, just Writers for Relief.
My name's Alan. I am on staff here at Outlanta Con, but I also run a little shindig called Timegate, which is here in Atlanta, in this hotel, in 2 weeks. And we have 3 programming tracks: Doctor Who, Stargate, and everything else.
And Ace is coming.
Yes. So our guests this year are Sophie Aldred, who played Ace in the 80s, Mike Dopewood, who played Varro on Stargate Universe, and a whole host of other people. You want information? Come ask.
Oh yeah, and I totally forgot, because I started this week. I've actually started a Doctor Who podcast that's actually a video cast. The episodes are only available right now on YouTube. They're getting ready to be released via iTunes in the next week or so.
And he likes the Doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently.
Yes.
Okay, so if you throw the TARDIS through a gate,
Yes.
the universe explode.
I think that's worthy of an experiment.
It is, but I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah, I
the
don't think
TARDIS
so.
has gone through various dimensions before. I
Right.
mean, it's just another wormhole.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It'll end up on Destiny or something, but that'll be fine. Okay, so
That's what happened after the finale.
I wish we could do a panel on Stargate Universe.
Yeah.
Oh my God, because okay. You have to come to Timegate to talk about that, and we will a lot. So, have you been watching season 6?
Yeah, we just actually finished rewatching the season opener for my 2 friends that had not seen it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
And what'd you think?
I really liked it.
You've seen a lot of activity, haven't you?
Yeah.
But who has seen season 6? Okay, anybody not? What's that?
Season 6 is the current season. So
Yes, that's great.
I saw the opener as well. That's as far as I've gone.
Okay.
So, but it's okay for spoilers.
Oh, okay. But there's, talking about the 3rd episode, there's not really that much that you can spoil that really matters.
No,
So
it was a fluff episode, which is
really
what they
was.
really needed after the intensity of the opener.
Well, what's interesting is that every season so far has had a totally throwaway episode for its beginning. I mean, Partners in Crime was cute, but it was stupid. And Smith and Jones, it was lightweight, but I enjoyed it. I loved Martha, and I thought the Judoon were cool, but it wasn't like an important event.
Yeah.
Whereas this season just starts out with a bang. I mean, it was.
I like the
gotta get out of this one.
but I like the fact that he's still tied into last season.
Yeah,
you know, everything that happened last season just hasn't been sort of thrown away.
Exactly, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the things that I enjoyed about last season is that you wrapped up a storyline in the final episode, but there were so many things that were carrying over to this season. Like there were so many things that had not been resolved or had been answered, and that's much better writing in my opinion.
Oh, I mean, I actually started rewatching from the beginning, and I really have to say,
From the Unearthly Child? Dude, you got to go that far back?
no, not that far back, just new Who. But I've been really amazed by the quality that we've gotten out of seasons 5 and 6 compared to the
Absolutely.
others. Don't get me wrong, I think, you know, there's some great Eccleston episodes, some great Tennant episodes. I mean, I love them to death. But just pound for pound, I mean, I've been really impressed with the overall, what they've done with seasons 5 and 6. It's been really
I
impressive.
agree. Totally agree.
I'll be a curmudgeon and say I think it's been uneven. I did not like the second Weeping Angels episode because they completely changed the angels. They were an entirely different species. They had totally different powers.
Well, no,
Not totally different.
Very different. Very different.
no, he even said, I mean, they weren't interested in sending anybody back into the past for their life force because they were getting it from the crack. I mean, they didn't.
And who doesn't? I mean, come on. It's like a regular weekend for me.
I still think the presentation of the angels was enough different that it bugged me. The season 6, the new villains, the Silence. I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I think that the show has gotten so deep into fantasy now that you can't really consider it science fiction because there are villains there that even the Weeping Angels are pretty much fantasy villains. But the episode that introduced them was so good, I let them be good. And but I really want to like it, but I just don't like the Silence. I think that they're just so it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I love the Silence, and even Moffat said he was turning towards fairy tales and stuff like that when he was writing 5 and 6.
Absolutely, it's a fairy tale. The idea that there are these creatures that have been running humanity for the last 200,000 years, and the only reason we don't know about them is that you forget about them when you look away. That just doesn't work.
See, I think that's really intriguing. I think that's really, but the weird thing is that we've already had the extraterrestrial species that's been guiding humanity for its, you know, we had Scaroth, and we had the demons, and we've had the ancient one from the Hemivores, and now we got the Silence. So no wonder humanity's so fucked up, because we've got 4 different people driving the bus.
It's completely not our fault.
Exactly.
This also, well, I'm not sure what's going on with the woman who keeps popping up.
Yeah. That was a wrench thrown in that I totally didn't expect.
And the other thing that I worry about is, and this has happened to other shows than Doctor Who, but it's the threat escalation. If you threaten London one week, then you have to threaten England the next week, and the next week it has to be the whole planet.
Yeah.
And the solar system.
And
Doctor Who has destroyed the entire universe.
But see, that's the thing that I got so tired of in Russell's writing, was that every finale just had to be massive and just to the point of ridiculousness.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that Moffat's going to back away from that.
I'm afraid not, because
I wish he would.
Me too.
I think that it becomes silly when everything that happens is of such
Yes, exactly.
import.
But I think with Moffat, I don't think we're going to be able to judge season by season. I think we're going to have to see everything he does. Because where Russell was very, narrow focused, Moffat's just like, he's out here, he knows the story he's telling, he's not just doing it a season at a time, he's incorporating everything. Because right now, he reminds me a lot of Joss Whedon or Straczynski, where stuff that happens in his first season is important.
Have a long vision back.
Exactly,
Yeah,
which I think Who can only benefit from.
See, I don't want it to get too convoluted, though. I don't want it to be lost, for God's sake. I
don't think it's going to be. I think it's nice to have a storyline that lasts longer than a season.
Well, I don't even think you need that. I just want good stories. I don't have to have massive story arcs. And now, if we're going to have massive story arcs, I want them to be intriguing and make sense. And I don't want any stupid shit like, I am Bad Wolf, I create myself. I wanted to kick Russell in the head when I heard that. I was like, I waited all season and that's what you gave me? Are you kidding?
Well, no, I'm kind of curious if he had to go with that because Eccleston left early.
Well, no, the plan was that they were going to do one season because they weren't sure that they would get picked up. They had no idea what the ratings were going to be, so they wrote a self-contained season. But you can still resolve it differently than that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So she wrote Bad Wolf on the Sidewalk. I mean, come on. That's just stupid. Yes.
Have you read the writer's tale?
I have not yet.
That will tell you why.
I'm sorry, if you can't watch the episodes and find out why, it's not good writing.
That'll tell you why
Yeah, I agree.
RTD does what he does.
Okay, well, I'm sure it will.
That's what I mean.
I'm sure it will.
You get an insight into the man's writer's brain. So
Yeah, but
it doesn't
still,
make it okay, but that tells you where
Right.
his head is.
Yeah, that always drives me crazy. It's like there was this one comic that the only way you knew what was going on is if you read the letters page. Because they'll throw in little summaries
Yeah,
that
yeah.
never appeared in comics.
Right.
If you're going to tell a story, present the entire story.
Right, I agree. And that's why, people, you watch the confidential episodes afterwards and it explains all the, no, tell it in the story. Some of the, now let me back up. When Russell is good and wants to write a self-contained story, he's, I think, a genius.
Yeah.
Midnight was phenomenal. I think that was the one where he's trapped in the bus with the people and not.
I thought
That was
Wars of
amazing.
Mars was.
I hated
phenomenal.
that.
I love Wars of Mars.
Which one?
Waters of Mars.
Waters of Mars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. And then I was like, yeah, the two-parter finale, him leaving is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, that finale was exactly like the finale of season 2, where you finally write on screen a big meeting battle between the Daleks and the Cybermen, and that's all you get, is they talk smack to each other, and that's it. And you could have done that, and if you want to do a massive, dramatic, over-the-top finale, do those two guys, man, just wailing and battling out for the control of the universe or something. But all they did was like battle and fight each other in a little warehouse.
That was a disappointment.
So we're not going to bash the new series. I promise that's not what this is about.
No.
But we got off on a little
Yeah.
tangent about.
I think the reason it's tempting to do the bashing is because it's so close to being wonderful, and you get frustrated when it's not quite that.
Well, yeah, when it's
good.
good, it's really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Midnight.
You wish it could always be that good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll say this. I mean, Doctor Who at its worst is some shows at its best. I mean, that's how I feel.
Doctor Who ain't bad.
Because honestly, I mean, I can rewatch Who over and over and over and over again, and there's some shows I can't do that with. There's a handful of shows that I can do that with, and Who's one of them.
Let me give you an example. Paradise Towers is coming out on DVD. I can't wait to watch it, even though that is just a terrible, terrible story. It is awful, but I can't wait to rewatch it because it's still Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It's still the characters that you love, and it's an interesting premise, and it could have been a spectacular story, but they went weird directions with it.
Yeah, I just finished watching War Games for the second time.
Oh my
Because
God.
When I heard that, Neil Gaiman was going to tie his episode, which
Yes.
is tomorrow night,
Yay.
into War Games.
Really?
Yes, there's a character that has not shown up in Doctor Who since the War Games.
And a few other things.
No
War
idea
Games
what-
is going to be in it. And I was just like, I had never seen it, so I was like, I bought it on Amazon, and I watched it, and I was like, this is really good. I mean, is it a little long at times? It is, but I mean, it's such a key story.
Storytelling was paced more slowly back then, in not just in Doctor Who, but in all shows. You go back and watch the original Star Trek, and it's much more slow paced.
But I
Oh,
mean,
sure. But television, in each of its decades, television is made differently for a different audience.
War Games is on DVD now?
Yeah.
It has been for a couple of years.
Yeah, and I was really, I mean, it's such a key episode. I don't honestly think a lot of people believe how important
Oh, yeah.
that story is in the entire mythos of Who.
Oh, yeah.